What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the After Effect Podcast Show. I'm your host, LeBron Stephen, but you can call me LBZ, LB, Big Bron, B Ron, Bronny. The choice is yours. Welcome to episode 77. We have a very special guest. Isaiah Bowens is on the show today. Upland, California native, played his football in La Puerta, California. Was ranked the number 16 outside linebacker in the country, was a top recruit in that area, chose to stay home and play his college football at UCLA, played on special teams for his first couple years on campus, had a prominent role his junior year, had some injuries in his final spring ball, which kind of derailed his senior year. Now he is a SAG actor. He's acted in several national commercials, actually filming a movie now, Fantasy Football, has a speaking role in that movie. Me and Isaiah worked together on season 2 of All American on the CW. That's where we met. Super excited to get Isaiah on the show to discuss his career growing up in California, some of the differences, on the West Coast compared to the East Coast, his college career at UCLA, and more importantly, his after effect, how he got into acting, how he got in front of the camera, and find out some of his other passions. So just send the link, and once he jumps on, we will go in.
A guy who came from Cleveland.
Okay, well, you ain't from Cleveland, no.
Cleveland was the best location in the nation.
You know, we from Cleveland, Ohio.
Glenville community on the east side of Cleveland.
Cleveland was called the best location in the nation.
There you go. What's going on, bro?
What's good? Shoot, man. Chilling. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How you?
Doing good. I'm actually trying to find my headphones. I'm rocking my ladies joints right now, but we on. What's up with you?
I see you with the sky blue joints, match the UCLA.
You know, you feel me? Yeah. Matching all the way down.
Yeah, no, man. I appreciate you joining, man. So I don't think I explained to you the ethos of the podcast, but it's called the After Effects Show.
I thought it'd be organic, you know what I'm saying? But go ahead, bro. That's my bad.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. It's super organic. I started it about 2 years ago. It was always my belief that the athletes transition into the real world, or like the after effect of their career, and then them going into the real world. I always felt like that was minimized. So this is kind of like a free and safe space for us to obviously relive our athletic career and all that, but more importantly, like talk about that transition out, talk about the hardships that you experience, trying to figure out what else you like other than that, that sport, that relationship that you have with that sport for 15 to 20 years, however long, whenever you started playing. So that's kind of like the ethos, and I appreciate you joining, bro.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's definitely been a journey in itself. You know what I'm saying? Just first of all, accepting it, you know what I mean? And exactly. The fact that you're not.
That's the hardest part. Yeah, that's the hardest part.
That was actually the easiest part for me.
Okay. See, this is why I love your perspectives, because that was the hardest thing for me.
So for me, it was easy because, I had got hurt in the prime of my career. Like right when I
saw that you got injured your last spring ball, right? 2012?
Yeah. So with that, it was easy for me to kind of like, especially when I came back, to kind of know just the difference in my level of play and where I would fit into the depth chart. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So with that, it was just much easier for me to like, first day I came back from being injured, everything's healed up, but I was very stiff, like as far as my knee mobility and things like that. So
because you had torn ACL, right?
Yeah, I tore ACL, MCL, and meniscus in my right knee. Okay, so all at once, totally destroyed my MCL, which was, it couldn't allow me not to like even put my leg down on the ground.
Right.
I couldn't even like, it was pretty much dangling.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it was pretty severe injury. The surgery went great. but with the scar tissue buildup and everything like that, it was tough for me to get it down in time, to play a next season the next year.
Right.
Even though it was healed up, I was in good shape. I just had no mobility, so I can't run, I can't jump, I can't do the things that allow you to be explosive.
As a football player, right?
So with that, I was just like, I came back in the summer camp, and started with the tools, which was love. I was like, I appreciate that, coach. Showing me that respect.
Yeah.
Because I was a starter beforehand, so threw me in there, let me see what's up. I knew it right away. You know what I mean? I couldn't perform like
you can feel
I just couldn't perform like I wanted to. You know what I'm saying? Doing things, tripping over myself, trying to move fast, and not quite ready. So with that, I was just like, next day I'm with the threes. Then the next day I ain't seeing damn near nothing.
You can tell it was a difference, like on film. The eye in the sky don't lie. So on film you can tell that. Okay.
It was just tough, man. It was just tough for me. To especially it was almost like a finally thing when I finally got into the mix too, because I had some great players in front of me. You know what I mean? And then I wasn't a football guy. I was a baseball guy. So learning the X and O's was a huge challenge for me. Just coming, I literally played football 2 years before I went to UCLA. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So you only played 11 and 12.
11th and 12th, yeah.
Wow, okay.
And half of my 12th grade year, because I broke my ankle summer ball going into my senior year. So junior year, I balled, on some like go get the quarterback, you know what I mean, hold the D gap. Go get the quarterback, nigga.
They simplified. They simplified the game for you.
So with that, I was all world. I couldn't be stopped, but. Once I got to the, to college ball level,
different,
it definitely got different. It was a different beast mentally. You know what I'm saying? I could hang with the best of them, hit with the best of them, but mentally is definitely. So like I said, it was a finally thing. Like, all right, I'm finally in the mix. I'm kind of getting the X's and O's. Boom, shut down, and then so it was easy for me after that third day of camp, my senior year, to be like, all right, well, I ain't about to be playing. I ain't got no film, I got, special teams film as a youngin', freshman, sophomore, I got a couple reps my junior year, but, and from there, it was easy for me to just be like, all right, well, that's the realistic thing to do is to find another way to move.
Right. I got you. Let's dive into your childhood real quick, man. I saw you was born in Upland, California, and then you went to high school in La Puente, California. So just like paint me a picture on what it was like growing up in California in the 90s. Like I grew up in Cleveland, but California always just seemed like this like astronomical place. Like y'all got the palm trees and the beaches, and like at the time, Bone Thug was real popular. They was from Cleveland, but they had moved out to California and blew up. So like we was just big on Bone Thug growing up in Cleveland, Ohio, and California always just seemed like a place that like I grew up in the hood, so it was like it was like a place I would never touch, or like, you know what I mean? Like it kind of seemed like not real for real, because like I knew we could never fade it to like travel there or nothing like that on vacation. So it was like, so just paint me a picture on what it was like growing up. I always feel old when I say this, but like we don't like, and you have kids, like we didn't grow up like the kids now. We didn't have internet, we didn't have YouTube, we didn't have camera phones, we didn't have none of that. So I kind of feel like it was more of an interactive world. Like you had to go outside and make friends, and you had to like make up games, any bounce and hide and seek, and you had to be in the house by the time the streetlights came on and all that. So just kind of like paint me a picture how it was out there.
So crazy thing you say that, because I don't know either, to be real. I actually grew up. I was born in Cali, but I moved to Washington State when I was like 4 or 5.
Okay.
So went to Washington State, grew up there until I was about 16, 17, and then I moved back to Cali.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So it was nuts. Yeah, I went to 3 different high schools. Did all my middle school, elementary in Washington, which was cool.
And Washington State is like, it's like kind of cold there, right? It's not like California.
Yeah, it's pretty. It got the 4 seasons. You know what I mean? It get about 80 tops in the summertime.
Okay,
something like that. I haven't been back in a minute, so it's probably a lot different now. But rain, snow, all fall and winter. Springtime, a lot of rain, but the sun trying to creep out. And then it actually reminds me. I'm in Atlanta now. So we're in Atlanta now. So it actually kind of reminds me of out here, minus all the crazy, crazy storms. So there's storms, but it ain't like lightning and all. Yeah,
it's the South. It's the South. So the storms are crazy here. And then when they get into the heat, it gets really hot here.
Oh man, I can already tell. It's a different heat.
Yeah.
But just to touch on that, grew up there. Was a baseball dude. Was a baseball kid. My dad was a scout. I live with my pops out there.
Okay.
My dad was a scout for the major leagues. He was a baseball guy himself. Taught me everything he knew. So I was playing travel ball, playing up, with the 15U when I was 13, and things like that. So I always played baseball. And I still love baseball to this day. I can pick up a bat and go nuts.
Yeah. But I think I saw that in your story a couple days ago.
Yeah, man. My son's starting to play, so I'm excited to coach him up, and it's gonna come natural for him too. So my brother ended up moving back to Cali before I stayed with my brother, my two brothers. My older brother moved back to Cali before me, and then I seen this man blow up, do his thing, college scholarship, football, all that. He was never a baseball guy as much as I was. He played, but he wasn't as good as me. Wow. Came to Cali sophomore year in high school. Was tricking off all my freshman year and stuff up there with my pops. He wasn't really around too much, watching what we was doing.
Okay.
So I was I was kind of out. It wasn't nothing insane that I was doing, but I was just, a kid in the streets, being able to kind of stay out later than I was supposed to in 8th grade, at a young age. So,
so
my grades suffered. I was still played ball, still kind of took that seriously, my baseball stuff, because it was outside of school. So I didn't have to worry about grades or nothing like that.
Okay.
But when I got to high school is when you start getting recruited and all that kind of stuff. So I took my freshman year off, and then my brother moved, and I was like, man, let me go ahead and get out of here too, man. He's doing way better than what he was. Came to Cali, which was a crazy move, like the biggest move probably in my life, still up to this point, besides probably coming to Atlanta now.
Yeah.
But went to Cali, ended up, playing, putting the bat down, which was crazy. I started playing freshman year up in Washington too, but same thing, running back, safety, come hit somebody. Not too, more of a rover. You don't really got to play the pass, just get up in the run type.
And that was your first time ever playing. That was your first time ever playing in high school. Playing. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And your boy was Booby Miles, bro.
I'm about to say, it sounded like that transition.
I was toting that rock, bro. Bruh, it was crazy, man. So that's kind of when I fell in love with it, in a sense of, man, like, damn, you remember playing, Smear the Queer back in the day, you know what I'm saying? Just running around, just nobody be able to catch me. All of that was happening, but I never played.
You said, what did y'all call anybody? Smear the Queer?
Yeah, we called it Smear the Queer, bro.
I never heard of that.
Before you could say that, my bad too. I don't know, but yeah, before you could even say that, it was
okay.
He's like, hey, what's that?
Yeah, I'm like, I never heard of that before.
That's what we called it, bro. That's what they called it.
It's 2022. You can't say that.
You can't play around. He's like, hold on.
Okay. No, it sounds like you made the transition to football pretty easy. You just started in high school.
Yeah.
You just was a baller. And sometimes for guys, it's just like that.
Literally, bro. So, I was just as surprised as anybody when I got a scholarship and all that. You know what I mean? So, and I almost had to adopt with that mentality. Luckily, I was always a rough kid. I was able to, run with the best of them, and stuff like that. So I wasn't afraid of hitting or nothing like that.
Right.
It was just hitting with proper technique and doing all this stuff. But I was able to train because my brothers played. So I was always training in the summertime, especially.
Right.
Because, they was always training in the summer, but I never actually played. So even within my family, they were like, man, you better ball. They ain't never seen you play.
Yeah.
When I moved to Cali. So it was just like, whatever, y'all. I'm watching work.
Yeah. So
that ended up going down good.
Oh, talk about, because I saw you you was rated as the number 16 outside linebacker in the country. So like, talk about like starting to play so late, and then just the game coming to you. And I'm sure that was like a fast transition because you go from like only playing baseball to being ranked like a top 20 at your position in the country. Like, and I'm sure you started all the letters and all the offers started coming and all that. Because I remember I started playing football at 8. We kind of had like the exact different experience. I started playing super early, and I always played. Like I didn't play for 2 years in middle school because I went to public schools, and no middle schools in the public school system had a football team. So like in the fall, I had to play soccer. Like that was the only thing I could play just to stay in shape and condition and all that. Then I played basketball. Then I ran track, and then so I kind of took 2 years off, and I started back playing in the ninth. But how was that transition for you? Like not even really playing ball for real. And then here you are, all of a sudden you balling, and then you offers and the rankings and the recruiting and I'm sure that happened fast.
Super fast, especially because my brother was, I went to 3 different high schools. Well, when I moved back out here, well, I was going to Claremont High School. I don't know if you know where that's at out in LA. But it was like inland. So it was like whatever. He was all world there. Broke records, all that stuff. So when I got there, I was bigger than him. You know what I'm saying? So they was looking at me like, he about to be the next up. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sitting there like nervous because I ain't never played it down in my life at this point, especially again, hearing that California's competition was just so much more, intense. And, seeing, passing league tournaments and stuff like that my brother was going through, I was very intimidated. You know what I'm saying? And I also was playing a receiver at the time. Okay. So I was playing receiver at like 215. I was a big receiver, was supposed to be their guy, premier guy. Ended up playing a couple downs my sophomore year with when my brother was on the team as well. So it was kind of like I had a lot of hype to live up to. Yeah. And they never watched me play in Washington. So I could say all I want. But at this point, I was with my uncles and my auntie, my mom's side of the family that was like football heads. Cali went to all the track meets, all the football games in the area, knew what was up. Right. And I'm a baseball guy. So it's like, but when I got on the field, man, so I ended up transferring. So I ended up like training with that team the whole summer. Then I transferred during like that hell week time before, that break before you go into like camp week. Yeah. I transferred to another school, man. Boy, them dudes was mad, boy. Yeah. They was hot.
Yeah, it's always like that in high school. I transferred once in high school. You know that the school you leaving, they be heated.
They be heated, bro. And I didn't make it any better. I was going back to like homecoming games and on my bye week and stuff. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I ended up going to this other school that was, D1, SoCal division, whatever, bigger school, Bishop Amat. And, was supposed to be their receiver guy. Ended up playing receiver, but when I tell you, bro, I was trash. I was trash. Like I could run all the routes. I could make it look pretty. But when it came to catching the ball in game time, bro, I literally never, bro, I don't know what was up with it. And so that kind of always with me. And because to this day, I'm like, man, I could have caught some of the rocks, nigga. God damn. But dropping them. I probably had like 500, maybe even, probably not even that, my junior year. But then, so my third week of the season, we had some injuries, and they were like, yo, you need to play DN. You're 6'2", 215. You can run DN, you're fast, whatever. My first time ever playing defense, I was just like, all right, throw me in the mix. But I started just naturally getting loose. You know what I mean? I was too quick for the O-lineman at that time, and I was too physical for him as well. So they couldn't really do nothing with me on my side. I was getting off of the block. I was making the tag. You ain't getting around the corner on me. Right. And then I started getting my confidence probably 3 or 4 games in at the end. Then I was like, man, I don't even feel like playing receiver no more. It's too fun. So I was playing both ways, but, and then, man, to start balling, man, my junior year. And I honestly didn't even know I didn't know stats, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I didn't know stats or anything. Yeah. So I didn't even know how much I was balling. You know what I'm saying?
Like sacks, TFLs, and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, sacks, TFLs. I had, I think, like 12 and a half sacks. Something. Yeah, bro. Just something I can't even remember. I can't even tell you, bro. It was nuts. And then end up starting to get, like you said, getting offers and the letters and stuff like that. And then, you know, a junior day led to an offer, man. And they weren't even supposed to offer on junior day. It was crazy. So, bro, and UCLA, and then the fam was like, man, you need to take this. You know, it's close to the house. We can see it. And me, I didn't care at the time. I just wanted to take my trips.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
who was in your top 3 like during recruiting, or you just automatically chose UCLA?
At the time before UCLA, it was Notre Dame, it was Texas A&M, San Diego State, and then a lot of teams were talking to me, but then I committed early. So I committed like my junior year. Yeah. So a lot of teams kind of fell off when I did that. So, but yeah, those were like my main offers at the time.
That's dope.
And I was pretty early on too.
Yeah. So you committed early. So like, talk about your transition from, you know, Bishop Amat to UCLA. I mean, like you said, it was at home and you had all your family there. So like, did it feel like a transition? Because you was probably only going like, you know, 30 or 40 minutes away from where you were already at. But I mean, it's still UCLA. Like, you know, they legendary for their football and basketball teams as well. So like, how was that transition for you?
It was definitely new. I mean, I was still getting used to Cali at the time. So I didn't know how far stuff was. I had went to LA probably like a handful of times to maybe go shopping or, you know, go to an event or something like that up until that time. So even with that, it still felt like super far away because I didn't have my license, you know what I mean? So I had to figure out how to get home and all that kind of stuff at the same time. And getting used to that drive was just like, all right. And it allowed me to, the biggest thing was going to UCLA, it connected me, bro. Like, that's the biggest thing. So if I didn't know all the relationships I had missed growing up out here, I kind of, you know, I'm a person away from everybody now that I'm in LA, you know what I mean? So I know a person that knows this person, that knows that person, and, you know, so it's look, I'm pretty sure you the same. We probably know all kind of dudes I know just because of the LA, you know, being in LA. So with that, it did seem where I was somewhere else, you know, and I didn't have too much of my fam come up there like that. My mom and grandma, they were a little older, so they didn't really come out like that. But my aunties and uncles would, you know, come visit me and come to the games and stuff like that too. So it was cool.
Okay, yeah, that's dope. And so I know, just to piggyback, I know we kind of pretty much talked about your college career and how it went. But you know, after that injury, and then kind of as you approaching graduation, like how are you feeling mentally, you know, emotionally? Just like you said, just kind of having to accept that, you know, you had this injury and you know, you didn't come back the same player. So now you just you got to kind of like figure life out as a young 20-year-old. You probably like 22, 21, 22 at the time. Like kind of just talk about that space, because a lot of people, I always feel like fans minimize that. Like they don't understand what guys go through. Like when you're kind of like identified as an athlete, you know what I'm saying? And then that sport that you playing is stopped. There's no more. Like you won't ever put a helmet on. You won't ever put pads on. You have to transition into the next cycle of your life, which is probably getting a job or maybe becoming an entrepreneur. But a lot of times we don't, you know, people from the Black community, we don't come from families where, our dad like owned a business and we could just go work in the family business, or like, or one of our people had a college fund put away for us to kind of start our life with after we graduate. Like obviously the kids have that now because they got NIL deals, so they'll have money to start their life with. But when we was in school, we didn't have that. So like, what was that transition like? Was it tough for you? Like, did you have any struggles, or like, you know, kind of break that down for me?
Yeah, I kind of went with what I knew. So I went back to school. You know what I'm saying? I moved out to North Hollywood, and you know, I was always a dude. I was into music, fashion, you know, dance and all that kind of stuff. I grew up doing it.
Yeah.
You know, I sang in the choir. And all that kind of stuff. So I kind of went back to those roots. And so I went to AI for like a year and a half in North Hollywood after I was done, just to kind of get some more time. You know what I mean? Like
AI is the Arts Institute.
Art Institute,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Art Institute. So so at UCLA, yeah, you know, a lot of connections were made, but we were all doing the same thing. You know, a lot of the main, you know, we call them normal students, I guess. But yeah, they were, you know, I made friends and I, you know, friends there too. But they, you know, they didn't get it as well. It's a different, you know, wave.
Right.
They kind of there know what they're gonna do. So with that, I just didn't know what I wanted to do. I tried to kind of get on it so I went back to AI. I was in the fashion management program and it was cool. I enjoyed it. And I started, let me start before that. So before that, my man had put me on with a deal to double one of our former teammates in the he was playing for Seattle Seahawks.
I remember you was telling me that story when we was on set.
So yeah, he had me do that, and that kind of introduced me to that. But I still wasn't heavy in, you know, doing the background work, the entertainment work, and you know, I still was trying to find my way. So then I was kind of going I was going to school at AI at the same time, like shortly after that, and then I started getting a couple more gigs from that just randomly, and meeting people. And I remember I was at the gym. I was working hard at the gym. And it's crazy too, because I'll say this, when I was in a relationship at the time, so that was messing me up as well, as far as just having my head in different places and just trying to worry too much about this or that. Right. So when I got over that, I kind of focused up, started working out, and through a fraternity brother of mine, you know, I was already doing the acting stuff a little bit, but I still didn't know the world. Through fraternity brother, his wife actually did connections with agencies for new talent. So he was just telling me that, and I was, I happened to see him at the gym, like, what's going on? What you been on lately? And he told me that, and I was like, man, whatever, I'll try it. You know what I'm saying? So tried that, and man, randomly put my information out there. I had like 3 interviews the next week. So ended up like interviewing with these agencies and ended up getting an agency. So it kind of happened like just going with the flow and opportunities.
That's what it sounded like. Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Like, because AI was still there. I was still going to school at the same time. And I was doing well, but I was kind of getting burnt out. Like, it was a lot of stuff that I felt I didn't, it just wasn't with the same major that I wanted to do. It was like kind of almost like general ed classes, but I was just like, man, get burnt out. And then end up getting on this gig, this Gatorade commercial, bro. And man, got up, auditioned for it, and got it. And then was doing it and ended up getting paid something insane throughout the whole year.
I already know it. So it was a national joint.
Yeah, national. Yep. It was a national joint.
So that Gatorade commercial, is that how you became like SAG eligible or wherever? Or because I love talking about this because guys stories are so different, and that's what I love hearing. So like you said, the power of relationships. It sounds like you got your agency, like you said, just through one of the homeboys, and then you took it serious, got signed with an agent. Before you know it, here you are a national commercial, and now you a SAG actor. You getting paid this big check. So after that Gatorade commercial, did things just continue to go or then it got
hell nah, bro.
Then it got slow.
So after that year, it got real slow. It got that year I ended up getting paid crazy. I'm like, oh, I can do this. But with my first check, it was I don't know, upwards of 15 grand or something. That was my first check. So I was like, oh, I ain't never seen no check like that, bro.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh, snap, I'm about to do this full time, blah, blah. I just got my agency. I'm like, oh, it's nothing. I'm getting on auditions every week. I'll get something. This is my first audition ever. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh, this is easy.
Right.
The next year, I was doing mostly background stuff, but I didn't get anything else that whole year, bro. So I was kind of, luckily I had got it because I was getting paid. I had a job almost without having a job. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But at the same time, I still had a loan to pay because I was going to school now. I still had more, rent to pay at the time and bills and everything. And I'm like, all right, I still kind of need a job because and it taught me about money too. You know what I'm saying? Like how it moves and all that, and how you can have this big check, but it can be gone. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what. And so what I did was when that first happened, I told them at AI, I was like, look, man, I'm about to do this
acting thing kind of booming. I'm gonna see y'all on the flip side.
You feel me? I told them like, peace. You know what I'm saying? And you know, they were cool with it. They knew I had a degree already from UCLA. They was just like, they weren't trying to press me to stay or nothing. Wow. And I was doing well up there. You know what I mean? The person loved me. The department head loved me and all that, and she loved my presentation. I had like created this whole, you know, clothing line from scratch, which was nuts. Yeah, which was crazy, but she like loved it. So I was like, oh, I know I could do this. So it kind of gave me confidence in that field too. But when this happened, bro, I was like, look, man, I'm cool off the studies.
Where would you say the creativity came from? Like, was your mom creative or was your dad creative? Like, cause I heard you say, you know, you was in the choir, you danced, you was in the fashion, you making your own clothing line. Like that's all creativity. And a lot of times they always try to box athletes in. It's almost like, even for me 4 years ago, when I started acting, a lot of my circle or friends or associates, like people thought it was funny. Like, oh, Brian, like, cause they know me as an athlete my whole life. Like, oh, Brian, you
that's another thing.
Like, oh, you acting now? Like you an actor now. Like, it was like
almost got to prove it every time you do something.
Yeah. Like
I was like, yo,
it was all jokes. It was all jokes for real. Like, like starting off.
Yeah, and I think it's the idea of being an actor, right? I mean, we grew up on an actor being like, yo, you're an actor, you're on TV. Yeah, like you ain't an actor unless you're on TV, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to hear nothing. And there's so much more to being an actor than just being on TV, or especially nowadays. There's all kind of different lanes that you could get into that you're not even on the screen to make money. You know what I'm saying? So it's all kind of stuff. But yeah, I say that to say, even with the like the acting stuff, right? And people looking at you, and like I had to accept it myself. You know what I mean? Like I had to literally get in it long enough to be comfortable with myself in order to say, hey, I'm full on, I'm an actor, and chase it. You know what I mean? And have the confidence to chase it. Exactly. And you know, because I've been in situations where it was just like, yo, like I got told one time, like, yo, you're not literally, bro, and it's crazy. This dude looked me in my eye and was like, smile. He was like, smile. So I smiled. He was like, yeah, you might want to work that out before you get into the, you know, your smile. You might want to work on your smile and you know, your teeth a little bit before you get into the. And this was a dude, I'm fresh out of college. I'm trying to get on. This is an agent for like a bunch of different people. He told me to take a meeting with him. So I'm excited, like, It just shows to you that like, yo, you can't take anything that anybody say. Yeah,
just the industry bullshit. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Industry bullshit. So, and that's early on too. So my experience is like, it's almost like, yo, you want more help coming out, but at the same time, bro, my experience has taught me so much more and just failing or not, or being told something or, you know, and even gaining that confidence in order to accept what you've already done. You know what I'm saying? So
exactly.
It was
the lessons are in the failure. The lessons are in the failures. Yeah, I totally agree.
So
no, it's funny that you talked about like you dancing and in the choir your whole life, because when I finally was done playing, I played my last year playing was 2016. I was 27. I played arena football, and that's when I knew I was done. And I kind of went through like an identity crisis. Just being honest, I love being honest and transparent on my show. I went through an identity crisis. I really didn't know who I was outside of football. Like so. I kind of just dove back into my childhood, and growing up, I was always in the choir. I was always in, I used to sketch a lot. So I used to like had this big sketch binder. So I got back into sketching. I didn't go back into singing, but I used to be in school plays. So that's what made me start looking at like castings in Atlanta. That's where I started, castings in Atlanta, just trying to get on. And then I got on like just a background role for The Walking Dead. But the scene I ended up being in was like people saw me, like people, when it came on, people was texting me like, was you in The Walking Dead? I think I saw you. But that was my first time ever doing it. And then when I realized like, maybe I want to just keep doing it or just continue to try it out, I had met all these people on the set, and they had been telling me that, you know, they had been trying to get on the show for years and been submitting for years. And I got on like my first submission, not even really knowing nothing, honestly. Like, you know what I mean? So just continuing to do that. And then just taking that athlete mindset and putting it to the industry, learning the industry, taking all my notes.
Power, man.
Taking all my notes, like headshots, and agents, and managers, and meetings, and just doing all my homework, doing all my due diligence. That's kind of how I started to get into it. So it's funny that you said that you had always done like dancing and the choir, but like it took me some time to like lean into that, and especially starting going to acting classes. Like I had never done improv, I had never done a script analysis, I had never, you know what I mean? I had never played all those improv games, so that acting class was very hard for me. Like for the first probably like 6 months, that shit was like I used to walk in, heart beating all fast because I wasn't used to like being creative, like randomly
in front of random people. Yeah. I think, like I said, like you touched on that athlete mentality. I think, like I said, it's a power, bro. Like the confidence that athletes have is unmatched compared to anybody, right?
Exactly.
We're able to be coached and do it because we've done it at a huge level. We've done it in front of a crowd, but we have to be coached first. Right. It's like, I ain't about to do it just willy-nilly. I need to know kind of what's going on or be confident enough to get my head in the game or, you know, do it long enough to do it. Right. So with that, like, we're I believe we're the most talented. That's why it happens like that for us. I feel like when you get into a mix and these people been waiting forever to get a deal or been waiting. It's like we get in the mix, do it because we were already doing that on another level.
Train like that.
In another way.
In a different genre. In a different genre, if you will. Yeah. Absolutely.
And you know, that genre is so specific that we're gonna have other talents too. Like we're gonna have stuff, you know, put up or tucked away in our back pocket because that stuff is, there's so much focus and so much attention to detail and things like that with these sports that it's like everything else has to get pushed to the side. And it's crazy too, because you know, leaving that so abruptly too, bro. Like
I'm telling you,
it's like, dang, I've been doing this 10, 15 years and now I don't have nothing to do.
Exactly. So and what I love about it is, you know, like you said, people always say you're not an actor unless you're on TV. And you know, once you start getting into acting, you've been doing it for a while. You know the question people always ask you, oh, what show you in? Where can I see you at? Or like when gonna be your big break? You know, people always ask the same questions. Yeah. And I always tell people, I'm like, think about it. I started playing football at 8. I practiced and went to class for football for 14 years, 18 to 22. And still didn't make it, still didn't get drafted. Like, so people think they can get into acting and they don't have to go to class or like don't have to go back to school and learn or think that you're gonna be like an overnight success. Like for me, I feel lucky. I've been doing it 4 years and I feel like I've done some pretty cool things in those 4 years, but
100%.
But I'm not in it for, you know, trying to be the popular actor or anything like that. I noticed and found out that I actually like telling stories. And the stories don't matter if I'm acting and I'm getting paid this big SAG check. Like even what we doing, these are stories, but these are organic, true stories, like from our past. But that's why I started the podcast, because I'm just passionate about telling stories. So it's like, I think that when you involve the passion, you know what I mean, everything else gonna work itself out when it's supposed to. Like, but you got to immerse yourself, you know, in the passion of what you're doing.
No, 100%, man. Like, yeah, bro. Like, and like you said, the acting world is so like, I don't know. I just feel like every football player that I've talked, you know, I've been blessed to meet a lot of dudes over the years doing the same thing I've been doing.
Okay.
It's the same. It's not the same story, but it gets to that point of like, yeah, I ended up getting on and now it's like, and it's almost like it clicks, at least in the entertainment world, where it's like, like you say, I don't have to be this person. It's really just about opportunities and preparing yourself, really. And that's with anything, but in this particular business, it's like, you get into a certain threshold, you get in the same auditions and everything as everybody else. It's not like Bruce Willis or whoever else. Yeah, they're going to get a better opportunity, but I've auditioned for, you know, main character roles on shows that people been seeing or whatever. And it's like, I'm like, damn, how did I get into that mode? But that's literally just how it is. Once you get to a certain tier, of work, or you've done enough, or you're SAG now and you have an agent or whatever. It's really just about knowing how to get there. Once you're there, it's like, man, it's too much bread, and nobody tells you how to get there either.
Exactly.
So having that football mentality allows us to kind of like really analyze what we need to do to get there, and do it. I feel like a lot of things are hard for people to do when we just look at it like,
just execution over excuses.
Exactly. So that's that superpower, man. It's almost like a fraternity too, bro. Like, you know, we all know each other just 2 or 3 people away, bro. So I always, you know, show love when it's somebody that's in the same shoes as me, or I try to pay it forward with the success that I've had. Cause it's taken me, like, I literally just, man, I'm super excited because I just filmed my first movie ever.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. Fantasy football, bro, right?
Yeah, bro. Same realm I've been in, same, you know, people that I've been around.
Martin Hardwick is in that, right?
Bro, yeah. So I'm it's nuts, bro. It's
I know
really
you're
crazy,
excited, bro. I'm excited for you, man. Like
it just happened like anything else, though. You know what I'm saying? I was put my name in the hat. I knew a dude that was coordinating it, put my name in the hat, and it was up to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not too much more that you could do besides recommendation in this, you know, in this game. So in order to, and when I performed, it was just so crazy because this time around, I really was intentional with what I was doing. You know what I mean? And it took
what role was it? Were you a football player or a coach, or I'm not sure what you can talk about.
Football player.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just a football player. I'll give y'all a little. Hey, buddy, I'm on the phone. Okay, buddy. Okay. All right. I was a football player, and you know, it was a couple roles for like background guys that they had up for, you know, to get with a couple lines, and you know what, you know, I don't know if you remember Don Powers. Light-skinned ball cat. You've been in the football game. You did All-American with me, right?
Yeah.
He did it for a second, which you may or may not know him. But he's a good dude. He was a coordinator on his job. Threw my name in the hat, like, hey, man, you're going to have to be a safety, bro. Like, that's the only one I got for you. So I was like, it's nothing. I lose 20 pounds. Let me go ahead and, you know. So
I can tell you lost number. So you lost that 20.
Yeah, bro. So lost that 20. And, you know, auditioned for it. And they was like, yo, this is, you know, but we also had to do a tryout to be on the background stuff as well, to do all the like football stuff. So I did the tryout, but we didn't know we made it, you know, we got the role until after the tryout. So either way, I was like, I'm being this mix no matter what. But, you know, with this being prepared and losing the weight and feeling confident in myself and just all around, and you know, I was just intentional about it all. You know what I'm saying? And it panned out, bro. And you know what I'm saying? And
congrats,
got the kid. I got a couple scenes with just him, and then I got a scene with just Amari, and then I got a scene with Marseille, and then I got a couple scenes with Marseille. But I got about 3 or 4 lines. I play like a football support kind of role for Amari. So it's gonna be smooth, bro. It's a kid
kind of
movie.
like yeah. I mean, I read up on fantasy football. I knew it was from here. What was it? What is it like acting with Omari? Because obviously I've done my homework on him. He just like us, like played at Georgia. You know what I mean? Like grew up an athlete, and then you know he got into the arts. You know, kind of just like us. So like, what was it like, kind of sharing that energy, like in scenes with him?
You know, I've learned to have confidence in yourself and how you would do it versus what it says on the paper. You know, like a lot of times, at least when I first started, I felt like I had to stick to what was said. I don't want to do anything wrong. I don't want to do too much.
Say nothing wrong.
He kind of gave, and it was cool too because he kind of was, you know, we had some one-on-one time. You know what I mean? It was like, yo, pull me aside, like, nah, this is how you got to do it. Like, you know, put the paper down, you know, crumpled it up. I'm like, oh, snap. Like, you know, football dude. So he talking, it's almost like, damn, this nigga talking like that. Like, you know, cussing, nigga this, that, you know, but he's a good dude. He has he's trying to help me out. So it was cool. He kind of knocked that anxiety and that nervousness out on the first couple takes. And I was kind of, you know, and then from there, during the movie, I was able to just get right into it.
Yeah, build on that. Build on that.
Yeah, so, and then the director was messing with me too, so he kind of threw me in the mix a little bit more than I was supposed to be in the mix. Okay, so that was cool too. But yeah, he was dope, man. He's really like that, confident in his work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We'll go in there and do it a bunch of different ways, but real authentic. You know what I'm saying? So it was good to watch. It was cool to watch him up close.
I know you learned so much, like just being in close
bro.
proximity to him, and just taking little tools that whatever he do to, you know what I mean, to get ready for certain stuff or anything like that.
It was dope, bro. I couldn't even. The first day I was with him, I wasn't even supposed to have a line that scene, and the director just threw me a line and was like, "All right, you gonna say this?" But it was directly. I had to say it for him to say his line. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was like the first couple of times I was reading, I was like, damn, I didn't really read this line because I wasn't supposed to do it. But, even that, like, you got to read everything because, you never know who's going to get.
Never know, right.
Especially the type of player I was. It was like three of us playing the kind of character that I was. So we were kind of interchangeable in that sense of like, you may get this line, you may get that line, whatever, whatever.
That's dope. Who was the director of fantasy football?
Anton. What is his last name?
Okay, I'm
his
trying to find
Anton. He produced. He directed Blackish. So he was the same director from Blackish.
Okay,
I want to say Grownish too.
Okay.
But he was a cool dude too. They real down to earth. Real explicit. You know what I'm saying? So it was cool to just be grown, to be grown folks on set and, outside the take, but it's a kid movie. We still grown. We still doing what we got to do,
Of course,
and getting that mentality. So it was cool, man. I did, we had like this little mansion scene that we did to finish it out. So I'm your boy all in that too. So it was dope, bro. We filmed at like Heinz Ward's old crib.
Okay.
Which was clean.
Yeah. That's dope. So
man.
are y'all completely done? Are y'all gonna have any reshoots or anything? Or are you not sure yet?
We'll see. I know it's supposed to drop in December on Paramount Plus. Yeah. I don't know what they're going. I know the football stuff is done as far as like all the field work, which was fun as hell too.
Oh yeah,
Mercedes
that
Benz and all that. It was dope.
I can't wait to check it out, man.
I can't wait to see it now. And I'm never.
I feel like it was me. Yeah, I feel like it was me in a row. I'm so happy for you, dog. Like, cause I just know, I know the grind, man. I've been at it 4 years, and I just understand it. So anytime, the cards in your favor, like, you know what I'm saying. I'm happy for you, dog.
Yeah,
straight up.
Man, it's been a long. I appreciate that, bro. Yeah, it's been a long time coming, man. Like,
yeah,
over the years, I've been fortunate to just keep it going and stay in the mix, man. A lot of people come and go due to professionalism or this or that, or just kind of get into other things in life, So in order to stick with it, I was able to find my lane, really. So other than that, I also own a hot sauce company called Big Red's Hot Sauce.
Yeah.
So I really got involved with that with my cousin. My cousin is the chef. He's like the original creator, but we became business partners back in 2018, 19, I want to say. Okay. So we've been doing that for the past couple of years, which has been love because I've been able to do that.
Big Red's Hot Sauce. Y'all heard him? Go check him out.
Big Red. Yeah, Big Red's Hot Sauce.
What's the website?
BigRedsHotSauce.com.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And I know you be like vendors, like you vendoring somewhere like every weekend, like you are, and I'm seeing that. Yeah.
So my man showed me the blueprint with the farmers markets, man. So we're based out of Arizona. And I went up to Arizona, and he was like, 90% of the farmers markets in Arizona, small team, we do everything in-house. Yeah. So we're all family or close friends. Mm-hmm. But yeah, 90% of the markets out in Arizona. And I was like, bro, he's getting this money. He's getting that in between flow. You know what I mean? That a lot of people ain't even thinking about.
Right.
And so I, started getting with him. And then he did a joint out in Anaheim. It was like a hot sauce festival.
Okay.
It was like one of the biggest joints in California, bro. Won that joint. I'm like, oh, bro, like that's all the validity I need to see. You know what I mean? That's all I need to see.
That's major.
So ended up getting with him, and he was cool with it because he didn't have no guy in California to start doing markets out there. So I did the groundwork for that and got in touch with all the market managers and stuff like that. And with his help, we were able to get the product going out there. So that kind of served as my day job while I was, getting gigs and auditioning and stuff like that.
Yep.
And shoot, it was great money. You know what I mean? So
sound about right.
Still doing the same thing out here.
Yep.
And been hitting it. Out here it's a little different because it's seasonal. Out there in Cali, it's year round. So So I'm almost have a job, literally a job all year. based off of what I want to do, when I want to do it. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the freedom that I wanted. Because it's hard to do these gigs, bro. It's during the day, 12 p.m. There's no job in the world that'll...
You have to have freedom. You have to.
You have to, bro. So they want you there and now. Can you make it tomorrow at 1 p.m.? You'd be like, dang. All right. And it'd be like 8 p.m. You'd be like, dang. You know, so
right. Super early.
Getting used to that was big too. Finding that lane and literally finding that, coming up with the idea to do that with my cousin was just like,
that's major.
Yo. Yeah. So yeah, bro.
And like you said, you got that freedom. Like you said, you got that freedom.
We've been growing too. So we're about to go nuts with the sauce as well, man.
Yeah. Are y'all doing anything this weekend? Since Memorial Day weekend, you know everybody gonna be barbecuing and all that.
I'm supposed to be on Sunday. There's a joint in Decatur that I'm supposed to do. We'll see though.
Okay.
Like you said, people are gonna be barbecuing and doing a bunch of stuff. So I don't know if they're gonna cancel it or not. Okay. But I'm supposed to do it. Okay. But yeah.
Yeah. So just two more questions. I don't want to hold you too long.
You good? I'm on duty now with the boys, so I'm chilling.
Always on duty as a dad. You know? What would you say? I mean, like you said, you've been acting, you know, going on 10 years. What would you say has been like the highlight, like just of the acting journey? If you can remember any gig or any moment or any scene where that really stood out to you, like just during your journey thus far.
Acting with my family, bro. Being able to share the screen with my wife and my son in one commercial was crazy.
Yeah. I meant to ask you that, did your son just already have that on camera energy, or like was he already kind of like animated, or?
Yeah, he's my animated son. This guy right here. Yeah,
what's up, man?
Hey, man.
There he is.
So he's the animated one. He's the one that's gonna have an attitude with everybody.
Yeah, that's the funny one.
So yeah, but no, from a young age, bro, he was always cool. He was always independent. He never cried or anything. He had this energy about him that was like, I'm ready, you know. So we pushed it real early with him. Yeah. With my second son, it's total opposite. So you know, he can't go without his mom for like an hour. It's over. 10 minutes, it's over.
Okay.
So
I got
you. But yeah, man, I knew that when I had my son that I was gonna do this. I was like, yo, it's too much opportunity out there to not, get my son going and get, work on his college fund or whatever you want to do. So now he's making money for himself, at a young age. And that's another thing I like about the entertainment industry. It's it's a lifetime. You can literally play any role at any age. So
exactly.
I was like,
it's never stopping. You stop when you want to stop.
So and then and I found a new lane with that, and in order to just got it going. Just started it like, yo, my son's born now. What's up? What do I got to do to get him going? And my agency was helpful in that. And was like, able to get him going, and he was auditioning at just like we were auditioning, or I would have audition for him, and we would just see what he would get. So
coach him through it. That's dope.
Yeah, so he was able. He's a little older now too, so he'll definitely be ready for some newer stuff.
It's coming.
Speaking and all that. Yeah, I'm waiting. I'm letting him stop, Jay. No. But yeah, I'm letting him get a little older, acclimated, and talk and all that before I really push him again.
Okay.
But all the baby stuff, he was on it for sure.
That's dope,
and then
man.
Me and my wife and him were able to do a Facebook commercial together, and we actually did a couple different things. So the Facebook we did, and then we did a Cover California, like an insurance company commercial out in Cali. So that was cool too. That's kind of our bigger one.
That's fire. That's fire, man. Keeping it in the family, man. Hey, that's group economics.
And I'm like, yo, all he need is a show, man. It's over. Don't let him grow up on the show. It's over.
Right.
It's over.
Yeah. So two more things, man. You being a West Coast kid, like what made you make that move from the West Coast where you been all your life to to the South?
Man, really, I mean, I would like to say the pandemic, but it was a crazy situation. It was a blessing at the same time. So when I got married, I knew a friend of mine was a real estate agent, older cat. But he was like, hey, I got this house for you. The lady that I know, she's unable to take care of the mortgage because she, you know, it was a whole divorce situation, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, all right, well, you know, I appreciate it. Let's see what's up. I'll put some money to it, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I was supposed to refinance the house into my name at a certain point, but the pandemic hit.
Right.
So with that, I was in a prime spot, Inglewood, like 10 minutes from the stadium. I could ride my bikes. You know what I'm saying? Had a pool in the backyard. Yeah. It was love, bro. I was just enjoying it. But when I was gonna refinance it, the mortgage would have shot up probably like $1,000, you know, and I wasn't really with that. And then I ended up not being able to qualify just because of the pandemic. My money kind of stopped entertainment-wise. Yeah. And I just wasn't trying to go backwards, but I still wanted to do this entertainment stuff as well. Mm-hmm. So this, you know, Atlanta just called us, bro. Yeah. It just called us, bro. It just, my girl was with it, you know, she's a LA native, you know what I mean? Yeah. And she had no problem leaving. So I'm like, why I got an issue leaving? Yeah. I think it was more my connections and like just the way I was moving. I'm an entrepreneur. So that uncertainty of how things were going to go kind of stopped me. Wow. But once I knew we were able to get a home, it was love. I was like, I'll figure it out.
Got you. That got you over the hump. And the cool part about the pandemic, even though, you know, that was a crazy experience. It's like now the industry changed. Like, you don't have all those in-person auditions like you have in LA.
Not at all.
Remember in LA, every audition you had to go to the building. You had to check in.
To go to do it. You see the same dudes.
You see the same dudes that all the same.
Yeah.
But now it's like it's all Zoom. They doing callbacks and final auditions on Zoom. Only time you even go to the set is if you gotta do a screen test or something like that. So it's like you can.
That's how I got the fantasy football roles on Zoom.
Yeah, like you can live anywhere. You can live in Atlanta, you can live in Miami, you can live overseas as long as you can hop on a flight. So it's like, that's dope. That's dope. Last question, bro. What would you say is Isaiah Bowens' after effect of his entire athletic career? What were some lessons that you learned, you know, from football, from baseball that you took and you kind of carry with you now? You kind of implement some of that game and some of that stuff into your sons, to your family, really just as we try to push the culture forward.
The biggest thing for me is sharpening your sword quietly. So my coach used to say, sharpen your sword quietly or sharpen your blade quietly. And meaning, you know, not everybody needs to know what you're doing all the time. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody needs to know that you improving yourself daily.
That you doing this,
that you in your mix. Yeah. And that you know, and that you have your own lane. You don't have to tell everybody everything. And also, you don't have to take any. You have stop running around, Jay. That's why you busting your knee. Don't come sit up here. Come sit up here. You okay? All right, come sit up here, buddy. Sit on the couch. You okay? You all right? All right. But yeah, like not everybody needs to know everything. So but when you do come out the woodwork, they're gonna be like, oh, how did he do that? Or whoa, what happened? You know what I'm saying? So that's been kind of like a thing for me.
That's some game right there. I wrote that one down. That's some game. Okay.
Yeah, bro.
Sharpen your sword quietly. I like that. Okay.
You know what I mean? You ain't gotta be all in the mix. And even in the acting world, that's how it is too. Yeah. I've learned the less is more. You may be able to push the limits a little bit, but don't over push. You know what I'm saying? Right. Do just enough rather than, at least in this world, just enough to be like, oh, okay, I want to see what more he has in store, rather than show your whole hand and now you out of luck. You know what I'm saying?
So, you ain't got nothing to support.
Yeah, man.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying?
I got you. Well, yeah, bro. I appreciate you joining. One thing I've been trying to pride myself on is, especially as Black man, is just showing love and giving guys flowers, man. Like I said, I met you a couple of years ago. Glad that we've been able to cultivate this relationship. But everything you've done, all your accomplishments, you know what I'm saying? Your new role in fantasy football, I salute you, man. I just want to give you your flowers and show you that love, kind of, you know, man to man, while we both still here, bro.
I appreciate that, bro. And definitely, man, I'm here now, bro. So definitely link up with your boy.
Yeah, definitely, man. Let me know about that. Let me know about that game. You said in a couple of weeks. Yeah,
I'm actually going, bro, tomorrow. So I'm gonna tap in with my man tonight.
Okay.
I'm gonna see if I'll see if I can get you on the list.
Okay.
Because I don't even know if I'm on that mug.
No
I'll
pressure.
probably be going tomorrow. Just to let you know a time. If I go, it'll probably be. I'll leave around 7:30 tomorrow.
Okay.
I don't know where you are, but I'll shoot your info by then if if it's good.
Okay, sounds good, man. Well, I appreciate you joining, and we stay tapped in, bro.
Appreciate you, bro.
All right, man. Y'all have a good night.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, guys. So hopefully you've listened to that entire episode. Isaiah Bowens has a very powerful story. So cool to see him, kind of star at UCLA and have some turbulence in his career, right? And have to transition, to the arts, which he was already kind of passionate about. And, he's been doing it for, I believe, 8 to 10 years now. And if you heard the entire episode, it just kind of wrapped up a movie with Amari Hardwick amongst some other big actors. And he got a nice role on there, man. So super excited to see that and to continue to cultivate our relationship as artists, as men. So if you listen to this entire episode on Spotify or a podcast, please rate us and leave us a review. As you know, listenership is one of the ways that we make money. If you've watched this entire episode on YouTube, please subscribe, please leave a comment. And merch. We got it ordered. We just got to get the embroidery on there right, get the packaging right, get the website link right. And for the people who's been rocking with us for almost 2 years, our 2-year anniversary will be June 16th, 2022, which is in about 3 weeks. So hopefully I have everything done to where, I can kind of allow that to go live, on our 2-year anniversary. So yeah, until the next time, peace. Subscribe to LeBron Daniel TV, but you already knew that, where we dig deep and find our hustle, and every single day we are better than yesterday. Subscribe.